15, she refused to give up her seat, months before history remembers. In the humid air of Montgomery, Alabama, in March 1955, Claudette Colvin's quiet act of defiance would ripple beneath the surface of a rising movement. Her story, obscured by time and circumstance, is a testament to courage in youth and the unyielding spirit of resistance that refuses to wait for permission. Before the name Rosa Parks became synonymous with civil rights, Claudette's chair held more than a seat. It held the weight of injustice and the promise of change. This is the story of a teenager who dared to claim her dignity, challenging a system built on segregation and silence. It is a chapter of roots rediscovered, a renaissance of memory that honors those who stood in the shadows so others might stand in the light. Montgomery, in the 1950s, breathes tension and hope in equal measure. The city's streets are etched with lines, literal and figurative, that divide black from white. Signs proclaim whites only and colored, marking a society entrenched in segregation and inequality. For Claudette Colvin, these lines are not just markers on sidewalks, but barriers to her freedom and identity. A student at Booker T. Washington High School, Claudette is raised by her grandmother and mother, women who embody resilience and faith in the face of daily indignities. Their stories, whispered through generations, teach her that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. It is in this crucible of discrimination and determination that Claudette's moment arrives, unheralded yet historic. On the morning of March 2, 1955, Claudette boards the segregated bus as usual, clutching her school books and resolve. The bus driver's order to relinquish her seat to a white passenger is not new, but this day something within her shifts. She refuses. She sits firm, a small figure of resistance in a sea of oppression. Arrested and charged with disorderly conduct and violating segregation laws, Claudette faces not only legal consequences but the heavy burden of community scrutiny and isolation. Her bravery is met with fear and silence, as many adults in the movement hesitate to embrace such a young, outspoken defendant. Yet, beneath the surface, her defiance plants a seed that will soon sprout into a collective uprising. Claudette's arrest is a spark in a tinderbox, though it does not immediately ignite the widespread protests that would later define Montgomery's civil rights era. The established leaders of the movement, cautious and strategic, look for a figure whose image might galvanize the public and withstand scrutiny. Rosa Parks, 9 months later, embodies this role, an adult woman of impeccable character and quiet strength. But without Claudette's earlier stand, the foundation for Parks' historic moment would be less certain. Claudette's act exposes the raw injustice of segregation laws and challenges the community to confront the cruelty inflicted upon its youngest members. Her story is a reminder that history is often shaped by those overlooked, whose sacrifices lay the groundwork for monumental change. The courtroom becomes Claudette's stage, though she is far from a willing performer. Facing hostile judges and a society eager to punish her, she holds fast to her truth. Her defense is not just legal but moral, a young girl asserting her right to equality in a world that denies her humanity. Yet, the weight of the system presses down, and Claudette is found guilty, her record marked by juvenile delinquency. This label, cruel and unjust, threatens to derail her future and silence her voice. The movement's leaders worry that her age and background might be weaponized against the cause. Still, Claudette's courage reverberates quietly through the community, a testament to the power of youthful defiance in the face of systemic oppression. The months following Claudette's arrest are a time of reflection and preparation within Montgomery's black community. The simmering anger and frustration find new outlets as activists organize and strategize. Claudette herself becomes a symbol, though one not widely celebrated, of the indignities endured daily and the necessity of resistance. Then NAACP and other groups recognize the need for a catalyst, someone whose story might unify and inspire. Claudette's experience informs their approach, illuminating the personal toll of segregation and the urgency for change. It is a quiet revolution, building brick by brick, fueled by stories like hers that demand recognition and justice. When Rosa Parks refuses to give up her seat in December 1955, the moment crystallizes into a movement. The Montgomery bus boycott erupts, lasting over a year and drawing national attention. Parks' arrest becomes a symbol of collective resistance, her story told and retold across the country. Yet, beneath the spotlight on Parks, Claudette's earlier Defiance remains in the shadows, a hidden root feeding the branches of activism. Her courage is both a precursor and a parallel narrative, a reminder that the fight for civil rights was not the work of a single individual, but a chorus of voices, young and old, known and unknown, all demanding justice. Claudette's story invites us to reconsider the narratives we inherit and the heroes we celebrate. It challenges the simplicity of history and urges us to see the complexity of struggle. Her youth, once seen as a liability, is now recognized as a powerful testament to the breadth of courage across generations. In revisiting her story, we honor not only her bravery, but the countless unnamed young people whose quiet acts of resistance paved the way for monumental change. Claudette Colvin's seat on that bus is more than a place in history. It is a symbol of the enduring fight for dignity and equality. The roots of the civil rights movement run deep, intertwined with stories like Claudette's that were nearly lost to time. Her narrative illuminates the intersections of age, race, and gender in the struggle for justice. It reveals the layers of sacrifice and strategy behind the public victories. Claudette's Defiance is a seed from which a mighty tree grew, its branches sheltering a generation demanding freedom. As we unearth these stories, we enrich our understanding of history and deepen our appreciation for those who stood firm when silence seemed safer. The roots of change are planted in courage, watered by persistence, and sustained by remembrance. Today, Claudette Colvin stands as a living testament to the power of youthful resolve. Her story, once overshadowed, now shines as a beacon for new generations. In classrooms, museums, and communities, her name joins the pantheon of civil rights heroes. Her narrative disrupts the easy heroism often granted to singular figures, and instead reveals a tapestry woven from many hands. Recognizing Claudette's courage challenges us to see activism as accessible and necessary at every age. Her life reminds us that justice does not wait for perfect timing or perfect conditions. It demands action, even when the world is unready to listen. In the quiet moments of reflection, we hear the echoes of Claudette's heartbeat, a rhythm of resilience that pulses through history. Her story is not merely about one bus ride or one refusal, but about the enduring human spirit that refuses to bow to injustice. It is about the power of a single act to ignite a movement, to inspire a community, to rewrite a nation's conscience. Claudette's courage teaches us that history is made not only by those remembered, but also by those whose names we must recover. In honoring her, we reclaim the fullness of our shared past and the promise of a more just future. As the sun sets over Montgomery today, the streets are no longer divided by law, but united by memory. Claudette Colvin's seat is empty, yet it holds a space in the collective heart of America, a symbol of defiance and hope. Her story invites us to sit with the uncomfortable truths of our past and to rise with renewed commitment to justice. In the roots of her courage, we find a renaissance of understanding, a call to remember that every act of resistance, no matter how small, is a thread in the fabric of freedom. This is the legacy of Claudette Colvin, a teenager who sat before Rosa, who stood before history, and who never gave up her seat. The journey of Claudette Colvin reminds us that the fight for civil rights was never the work of one moment or one person alone. It was a mosaic of bravery, sacrifice, and unyielding hope. As we close this chapter, we carry forward the lesson that courage can bloom in the youngest hearts, and that true change is born from the roots of resilience. Claudette's story, once hidden, now stands tall, an enduring testament to the power of standing firm in the face of injustice, to the courage that defines a movement, and to the roots that nourish a renaissance of freedom. This has been Roots Renaissance. See you in the next chapter.